If you're a developer, you might have given your game to friends and family to playtest. And you're generally around to take their feedback on the game. If the game crashes or they get stuck somewhere, you're there to help them out. But how do you do this for a game that you have released? There's no way about knowing the player's experience once the game is live. Some players might reach out and give you feedback, but that might not be the complete picture. This is where analytics can help us developers. Simply put, analytics in games is just recording data about the player's experience while playing the game. I think all developers should implement analytics in some way. This allows developers to make better choices for the players and understand them better. Almost all successful games have some sort of analytics implemented. For Project Teal, implementing analytics was really important. So this week, that is what I did. I used the Unity's analytics package to, add analytics to the game. Since this is a puzzle game, there might be levels that are really tough or downright impossible. If something like that happens, players might get frustrated and drop the game. As a developer, it is important to know where the game is losing players, for whatever reason it is. The game is too tough, there are too many ads, the game is not interesting enough, etc. To track this, the game records how many times the retry button was pressed for a level. This will give me a rough estimate on how tough a level is. Other things that the game tracks that might help are how many times the undo button was used and also how many times the extra moves button was used. Analytics can also help understand the retention of the game, how many players return to play the game and how many players stop playing the game, so the developers can work on making the game more engaging for the player. For this, I track what level did the player reach while playing the game. If I feel the game is taking too long before the levels get interesting, I can shuffle around the order of the levels. Analytics can also help acquire new players. If the game performs well in a certain country or region, developers can promote their game in that specific country or region using ads and get more attention to the game. Developers can also get feedback using analytics and then improve the experience for the players, adding requested features and fine-tuning the game. If the game is made by a small team or a solo developer, developers might not have the resources to test each and every case and scenario. So using Unity's cloud diagnostics, developers can see crash reports and see if the game is crashing or throwing errors, and then fix those issues. One thing that I'm personally interested in knowing is how many people use the accessibility settings that I added to the game. So when a setting is used, the game sends an event for that too. This will help me make better features in the future, because I'll know what settings did the players use and what settings were not so useful. Adding Unity Analytics was fairly easy. After importing the package, I just had to call one function with different parameters and values for different cases and events. Because the parameters for the function could become huge, I decided to make a class with static functions to clean up the code. And after 24 hours, I saw some events registered on the Unity Analytics dashboard. When I saw this, it felt like magic. Lastly, I added events for smaller things I wanted more insight on, and after getting those in, I called it a night. Next week, I'm going to work on making the game more engaging.